Mathew, the Mighty Pimp King. Mathew, the Mighty Pimp King. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there was a young boy named Mathew who became a king at the age of 10. Despite his young age, he was not just any ordinary king. He was a pimp king. He loved to boss around his bitches and enjoyed making them do his bidding. Mathew had a passion for luxury too. He wore a fine purple silk suit and a wide fur-brimmed purple pimp hat. He also had a brand new gold Cadillac and he loved to be driven around in it. He would often sit in the back seat with a scowl on his face, barking orders at his bitches. Even so, he was adored by his hoes. Mathew always put his bitches to work on the streets. The king was very picky. He demanded only the best hoes. Just any hoe wouldn't do. He sent his girls far and wide to find only the best hoes in all the land. His hoes worked hard. They searched his kingdom day and night looking for that magic hoe. Then, they put them to work. They knew their main mission was to bring their king, Mathew, his money. Even though they were working doubles, they often fell short of his expectations. Mathew would go into a fit of rage, and he would then punish his bitches. The king did what he did best. He would line them up and give them a dose of pimping justice with a slap from his mighty pimp hand. "Where's my money?" he would exclaim. For weeks, profits continued to fall short. The king grew increasingly angry with each passing day. Even though his bitches adored him, they lived in fear of the punishment they knew they would receive if they didn't bring in enough money. One day, one of his hoes, a young girl named Lakeisha, had decided enough was enough. She drew on all her courage, stood firm, and stood up to her king. "Daddy, you're not being fair. This is unjust." Without a second thought, Mathew drew back and slapped that bitch so hard she immediately apologized for her disrespect. She begged the king for his forgiveness. Unexpectedly, the king stopped and thought for a moment. He had an epiphany. He knew it was crazy. But what if his bitches were happy? They might make more money. He quickly developed a plan. Ideas ran through his mind. Using his unmatched pimping genius, the king decided he would make Lakeisha his bottom bitch. Since only she had the grit to stand up to him, he knew there wasn't a hoe in the land that would dare disobey her orders. He brought her close and graced her with some of his glorious pimping power. He then allowed her dominion over all his other bitches and hoes. From that day on, Lakeisha ruled with an iron fist. She dared any of the king's hoes to question his rule. Those who did were punished quickly and severely. "This isn't a union. If you want Daddy to be happy, get off your butts and get to work," she would exclaim. "In return, Daddy has decided to give you every other Sunday off, even medical and dental." Now, under Lakeisha's rule, the money started rolling in. Finally, the Pimp King's bitches were happy and were once again proud to serve him. Mathew had learned a valuable lesson. He had learned the value of a happy hoe. Now you know how a 10-year-old pimp king named Mathew, who loved to be driven in his Cadillac, became a pimping legend, and how his story became a timeless tale of a pimp's redemption, transformation, and how his hoes had learned how not to get messed up by that mighty pimp hand. The end.